Welcome to Help Desk with Joe. This is show 85, and today we have an exciting show with Joe and Justin, and we're going to talk about a lot of good stuff. And, you know, some repeat offenders here in our talk today. And also, we are, I guess, done with the series on tips of the week.
For now.
Or just taking a week off at least.
Yeah, we're going to take a week off at least.
And we got a product review, and you've told us it's going to be a good one.
It's
not good as in positive, but it's going to be a good one as in one to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so with me as always, Justin and Joe.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Or how about this? Joe and Justin.
There we go.
There you go. Is that better for you, Justin?
Yep.
Get you on that train of exciting intros.
Yeah.
All right, so today we got a lot of good stuff to talk about. A couple new topics, which doesn't always happen. It's usually repeat offenders. Usually something to do with Apple.
Since I've been here, I don't remember ever talking about the first one on the list.
Yeah, so
It's been quite a while.
I agree with you, Justin. I don't know.
It's
I'm
been
not
a while.
super familiar with it, but Airbnb, Joe, how does Airbnb tie into the technology world? Because, you know, your role here is, and the basis of the show for the last 10 years has always been technology news and stuff that people need to know, the general consumer, along with business people, small business people especially. And now we have Airbnb, so I'm curious to see how you tie this in.
Okay. I know the last time that I recollect us talking about Airbnb is right when COVID first hit and we was doing the remote shows. That's the last time I remember even discussing Airbnb. So that's been a year and a half ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't even remember, so it must not have been anything super exciting.
Well, I was going to say Kel was still here, so that gives you...
Yeah. Well, that's over a year ago then.
Yeah.
Year and a half.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so,
you
know, within the last week, the government has started to lift the restrictions on international travel, starting to let international visitors come back into the country.
Yeah. So
Airbnb has stepped up and they've upgraded their app with some new bells and whistles to help draw in more customers, because they're seeing a huge spike in international travel.
Nice. I see how this ties in now, and that's an easy connection. So,
yes,
you know, having more people come back in, start to travel, and I think everybody in America has already started to travel quite a bit, and Airbnb has been a pretty popular thing. And we had a side conversation, not based on this show, but just you and I personally, about how Airbnb is on the uptick anyway.
Yeah, even here locally, as in Spencer,
Yeah, that's what I mean with people, you know, wanting to go somewhere and make sure that it's clean and sanitary and, you know, mandatory days in between and all that good junk.
Right.
You know, Airbnb was a positive.
Yes.
And so now it's tying into more of a world scope.
Right.
Okay. All right. Fill us in. I'm curious. I'm all ears.
Okay. So the Airbnb app, they have pushed out some updates, and it's good for all the way around. It's a little more work here right now for what they call the host of the Airbnbs, but it's nothing too crazy. So Airbnb is now making it easier for international travelers to book their stays, just as the U.S. opens its borders to foreign travelers. The short-term rental platform is introducing a translation engine that will automatically translate reviews and listing descriptions in over 60 languages.
Wow.
So the feature's set to launch before the end of the year, so it's coming soon.
Okay.
And some other things that they're bringing is accessibility reviews. So what the accessibility review is, when a host posts their home, room, whatever listing, you have to submit pictures to your listing to verify that your what you're hosting is what you claim it is. You know, if you claim that you can access it without any stairs, they want a picture to make sure that you're not on the second story of a building that...
Right. You're not doing any misleading information.
Right.
Okay.
So they're asking people to submit more pictures for the accessibility review to make sure everything's on the up and up. And they're going to have more flexible searches. So after introducing flexible searches earlier this year, it will let guests search for stays within a 6-month period of time. And Airbnb is now expanding that to 12 months out. So before you could only book up to 6 months ahead. Now they're saying, hey, let's push it out to a year out.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Serious planning ahead there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's. I was just thinking when you said that, I paused in my own head and thought, who knows what's happening a year from now?
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. I mean, I could almost see 6 months,
Yeah.
but a year. I don't know. I guess though people do plan stuff a year out.
Well, I mean, if it's like a cruise or something, I can.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. And you kind of know when you're going on vacation.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I got a teacher background, so it's always like summer and spring
Yeah.
break, or like, and you get your Christmas break. Those are the times when you take your time, because otherwise you're working. And
Right.
our work here with Patch is based around that schedule, so
Right.
everything happens in those months. So I guess you could do a year away, but it's kind of scary to think that way based on how COVID wrecked everything in 2020.
Right.
And carried over into 2021 about where you can travel, how you can travel. I mean, like getting a rental car right now is crazy.
Well, ain't getting anything.
Yeah, which is unreal to think that it's so hard to get rental cars. But a year from now, who knows what's going to be available or what the situation will be. So
We're just even trying to get gas. Cena and I tried to get gas last night at our local gas station here, and I'm not going to mention it.
oh, geez, you're inciting gas panic already.
I'm not inciting it. I saw it firsthand.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to name the station because I don't want to give them any bad press because it's not their fault.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Full disclaimer there. We pulled in, and they was limiting you to $50 max on your purchase.
Really?
And as far as gas is, the only thing they had was the 93.
Wow.
Yeah, I was trying to fill up the other day, and eventually I just put like $10 in and put the nozzle back because I was like, this is taking forever. It was
Going slow.
creeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens though. That's a technical difficulty.
Yeah, and then just went over to the next gas station, filled right up. So.
Huh.
Yeah, I remember that one morning, but there was that scare before where pulling into the patch office that there's a
Yeah.
gas station. I mean, it's almost like spilling out into the main road. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, now that
It
one was
happens, but
well
I don't know.
that one was completely
gas line thing.
yeah, that was completely unjustifiable
Yeah.
because that one had to do with the lower East Coast, wasn't even touching West Virginia, and of course our county had to be the one that would cause a gas shortage on purpose.
So
Yeah.
some
I was
sort
gonna
of
say,
ransomware thing.
Yeah.
that caused all that.
So
Yeah.
the fuel prices are caused by OPEC, and they have a board of directors that determines supply and demand and the cost of fuel and all that good stuff. And I like how everybody likes to blame it on politicians, and believe me, I'm the first one to say our politicians stink. But the gas prices are determined by OPEC. It's supply and demand. They slow down everything, or they decide to take a petroleum distillery offline and have mechanical whatevers. So it's just crazy when that stuff happens. Everybody starts to panic, and this is what I don't like. The panic sets in, like, oh, we got to have gas, so everybody goes and gets extra gas,
Yeah.
and they make it worse. And it's just like when the water thing happened there, with the coal cleaning company or whatever spilled the chemicals in the river, and they said, oh, well, this could affect part of Roane County. It was only the part down by Clendenin.
Okay, and
everybody ran to our Walmart here and bought water.
well, and I can verify because I checked with our local water department when that happened. I was talking to them.
Yeah.
It affected like 3 houses in Roane County.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
it
not,
was
I'm not
at
trying
the,
to cut sugarcoat, or I'm not trying to
Right.
lessen the blow, but it's like it literally only affected 3 houses.
Yeah, that's
in
what
our
I'm
county.
saying. They were down by Clendenin,
Yeah.
right at the very edge of Roane
Yeah.
County. And it was amazing to me. Zach and I sat here and we're like, people in Roane County don't know where their water source is.
No.
It's Charles Fork Lake.
Yeah.
We have nothing in the American water,
Yeah.
whatever it's called.
West Virginia American Water. Yeah.
We have nothing in that.
Yeah.
So, the Kanawha River pollution doesn't affect us here in Roane County.
Yeah.
Our water comes from Charles Fork Lake.
Right.
But everybody ran straight to Walmart,
Yep.
bought out all the water.
Yep.
We had an event or something going on, and we're like, crap. What is going on here? And then,
Yeah.
Zach looked up and was like, okay, yep, this is what happened. Everybody panicked. And they're like, geez, people.
Well, that's like last year with the toilet paper. If you went to the store and legitimately tried to buy toilet paper as part of your grocery shopping, people gave you the desk there. It's like, oh, you hoarding toilet paper? No, I actually need this.
Well, people were hoarding it, and I saw like some stores, like Kroger's over in Ripley, was limiting you to 1 pack.
Yeah.
And I saw a couple people throwing a fit, and I was like, it's not that big a deal.
No.
Surely you won't blow through 116 roll of toilet paper in a month.
Well, what I can
If you do, then, surely you can go to Dollar General or somewhere and buy another one. It'll be okay.
Or newspapers and magazines, junk
Yeah,
mail.
I was just saying, come back the next day.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Well, my thoughts are, everybody bought up toilet paper over a respiratory infection.
Yeah.
Not
So,
gastrointestinal.
so anyway, the whole gas thing just baffles me because I'm mad at the gas companies and I'm pushing gas up to $3.39 right here before the holidays. It happens every year.
Yeah.
I don't care how or who wants to try to explain it. Every year at the holidays, any holiday ever, they push the gas prices up.
Yeah.
And it's just how it is. And then people panic and like, oh gosh, we're going to run out of gas. We got tons of gas. Anyway, all right, that's my 2 cents. Joe,
How'd we get here?
I don't know how we got here from Airbnbs, but Justin, you are definitely not doing your portion of this show very well at all.
Well, it's still early, and we're about 10 minutes in, so Justin hasn't got fully
It hadn't got
wound
activated
up
yet.
Yeah. So the next thing that Airbnb is adding feature is adding verified Wi-Fi. So the pandemic has given more workers the ability to do their job from anywhere, which means they have to rely on Wi-Fi more than ever. In a 7,500 person survey, Airbnb found 1/3 plan to live somewhere else working remotely more often than before the pandemic.
Really?
Yeah. So Airbnb guests have used the Wi-Fi filter while searching for stays more than 288 million times, according to the company. Now hosts can have their internet speed verified through the Airbnb app. Additionally, they're also including a host protection feature called AirCover, which offers hosts $1 million in damage protection, $1 million in liability coverage, income loss protection, pet damage protection, and deep cleaning protection. And AirCover is free to all new and existing hosts.
Okay.
And I know the Wi-Fi is a biggie. A buddy of mine has an Airbnb, has a little house he rents out through Airbnb, and he actually had a person that was wanting to stay, and they wanted to make sure he had good internet, and two, that he was able to hardwire, because the way his laptop was set up, it wouldn't work on Wi-Fi. It would have to be hardwired for security reasons for work.
Yeah.
So I know, I've seen firsthand the Wi-Fi deal being legitimate.
Huh. Interesting. Okay.
So that's all right now for what's going on with Airbnb. For the host, there's a couple new features that you'll need to go through. Nothing too crazy, nothing that you haven't done already. And for the guests, book now, because you're going to have some competition here shortly.
Really?
From international guests
yeah.
coming in.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was going to say. Wait, competition, yeah. But yeah, from people out of country.
Yeah.
It's back on. Here we go. Okay, that'll be interesting. I'm curious to see how that all works out, just as in, here locally we've seen more kids get COVID than we have adults at this point. It's kind of turning a little bit, which is scary in our school system and so forth. But, when you start adding in folks from other countries, then it gets interesting. But I mean, you're going to have it at some point.
Right,
so.
but the good part of it is statewide and nationwide, our numbers are going down pretty steadily, which is a welcome change.
Yes, it is, for sure. All right, well, you tied a lot of stuff into Airbnb, Joe. I like it. Okay, so the next thing is Netflix. What do you got for us on Netflix? I like Netflix.
Well, I got some bad news for you, Dave.
Oh, crap.
I know.
Why, man? Just why?
Well, we can no longer poke fun at Justin for not having access to the Netflix games.
What happened?
They got on Apple.
Yep, starting today, Wednesday, November 10th, starting at 1 p.m. today, Justin and all iOS devices, iPhones, and iPads will now be able to play games on Netflix apps. So, Dave, our reign of ha-has are over. Of course,
well,
Apple...
I don't play Netflix games anyways. I don't really care, and I'm pretty sure Justin doesn't. So.
Well, but just the whole point of Android got it first.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's a given.
But
so,
we can't play the card of. But we can play the card of, see, another example of Apple copying Android. Android was first.
Oh yeah, that's how. I mean that's how it works. Everybody knows it.
So after a week after opening up its games to all subscribers to Android, Netflix is rolling them out to the iPhone and iPads worldwide. Users can now download the games through the App Store. So starting at 1 o'clock today, you'll see a dedicated row in the Netflix, iOS, and iPadOS apps from which you can pick a game to download. Those games will with an iPad can find the games through the category drop-down menus as well. So, if you want to list the games, listen to last week's episode. We went through all the games.
Stranger Things.
Yeah, if you're a fan of Stranger Things, there's a couple Stranger Things games out, and there's some other games I don't remember. I think there's like 5 out now, and there are already talks of a couple of other titles releasing soon. So, exciting things with Netflix are entering the gaming world. So I'm anxious to see how this works out. And if you missed our episode last week, if you're a Netflix subscriber, doesn't matter which tier, as long as you're a paid Netflix subscriber, these games are free.
Really?
Yes.
That's right. You already told me.
Yeah.
Coolio.
You gonna check them out, Joe?
I thought about it. I just haven't had a chance to. I did look at the one.
Try the shooting hoops out. See how that is. Wasn't that one of them? Like
Yeah.
a basketball game. I'm gonna try that.
Well, we can actually
Report back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you want to do that as a review, go through the process of getting it through Netflix and all that, and see how hard it was to make everything work. I mean, we could definitely do a review on that.
Okay. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Netflix games.
Yes.
Finally, Justin
Yeah.
can get some reprieve from the making fun of him almost maybe, but not.
Yeah. Dave sees me playing games. I could just say, "Oh, this is for work."
Yeah, I'm testing.
Pretty
Joe asked me
sure
to.
Denise is not going to let that float. But good luck to you.
Yeah.
But Joe said it was okay.
I'm pretty sure Denise doesn't care what you say is okay when it
Yeah.
comes to work.
Research. Yeah.
That's why Denise is in the job she is, because she does it very well, and she doesn't let
Yeah.
nonsense like me try to
Oh, yeah.
convince her.
Doesn't matter who you are, you can't pull that.
Yeah. That's why she and Cena work out.
I don't even get away with that.
That's why she and Cena work so well together, because they just kind of look at nonsense like me and go, nope.
We like it, but we're not gonna put up with you.
Yeah, shenanigans.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Now I'm nervous. I see item number 3, Apple.
Yes.
What the heck?
Apple.
So this one's going to be interesting, and I knew this would be a good topic for discussion. So
Man, we blew through the first 2, so this didn't take long at all, Joe. Normally there's something there that, you know.
well, this one's a good one.
Okay, all right.
So
Hit us up with the Apple.
okay, so Apple is to beta test an iMessage feature that will warn kids about nude imagery.
Ooh, okay.
So, and I know, and I read this last night, and I immediately had reaction. So I want to get your guys' reaction. This one will be a little discussion. So Apple will begin beta testing a text messaging feature designed to protect children from sending or receiving nude images, the company said on Tuesday. The new iMessage feature, which Apple adjusted after receiving feedback from critics, is part of a series of capabilities designed to fight child exploitation, which I'm all for. But
Yeah.
let me read on. Apple's new iMessage feature will analyze attachments and messages sent to users marked as children to determine if the attachments contain nudity. Apple said it'll maintain message encryption as part of the process that the feature is designed so that no photo or indication of detection leaves the device. Which, okay, I'm happy with at this point. So what they're saying is they'll have the software will scan the image with its algorithms or whatever and see if it contains nudity, and it'll stay local to the device and won't send anything home to Apple servers. So they say.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'm good with that. Now,
Okay.
the tech giant also said it's changed how the system works. Initially, Apple intended to alert parents of children under the age of 13 if the kids viewed or sent a flagged image anyway. Okay, no big deal. That's good. That the parents can still keep an eye on their kids. Now, Apple will let the children choose whether to alert someone they trust, and the choice is separate from whether they view the image.
Huh.
Big problem in my book.
Because they can accept it and go on anyway.
Yep.
I can read your mind, Joe.
Yeah.
Not really, but you know.
Yeah, not a lot there to read. So this Apple message detection feature is separate from it's planned to scan child exploitation imagery, which the company delayed back in September. So back in September, we talked about them releasing a possible feature that would scan all the images on your phone, and it was throwing it under their umbrella of, well, this is to protect children, and I was calling bunk, and everybody else was. So this one's a little different. So my thoughts are, and I want your guys' complete input on this. I liked their original intent of getting parents involved, but now you're letting the trust of a child to make the adult decision.
They determine the outcome.
Yeah. I'm wholeheartedly against that. I don't understand why Apple's going down that road. Why didn't they just stick to their guns and say, you know what? The parents need to be taking care of this. Yeah. And it goes back to the whole software like Bark. Dave, you have kids that use your kids on Bark.
Yeah, we use Bark.
So, I mean, granted, there are times that are false positives, and Dave, you've claimed that. And nothing against Bark. That's just with any software. That's just where software works. It could be a completely innocent comment, but they just hit a trigger word that threw everything up. So, and yet Apple's kind of mute on as to why they've changed their mind on this.
Yeah.
So I don't know what their intentions are, and I'm not liking where this is going.
Yeah, who knows? With Apple, it's hard to tell. Justin?
I mean, my initial impression is that just with all this stuff, you're always flirting with kind of like you're trying to address a problem, but then it can easily just seem like you said, Joe, they say they're not going to be looking at your stuff, and it's just like, well, you put your foot in the door in terms of, okay, now a company is scanning images that you're sending, and just
right.
I don't know. But you can see some good coming out of it, but also that foot in the door of, okay, we're gonna start scanning people's stuff, and it's just like
right. Well, here's where I draw the line and get the justification on it. Is when I send that picture, if I send something to someone, like when I send you guys a text message, that's basically leaving my phone and hitting the public to get to you guys. So if they want to scan it in between, I have no problem with that because that's leaving my device. That's not a problem. But now just infiltrating my phone just because and then scanning without me giving you that's a whole other ball game. That's where I draw the line of if I'm going to send it out or if somebody's going to send me something, okay, scan with it whatever you want. I don't care, but just infiltrating my phone, no thank you.
Yeah. It's a slippery slope, and Justin, I agree with you because once you kind of get that foot in the door, man.
Yeah.
And then leaving it up to the kids.
Right.
I don't know. Whose idea is this? I kind of agree with Justin. It's kind of like, hey, let's do this because surely there might be a problem down the road, but.
Well, and what drives me nuts is, and you guys have seen this way more than I do because you guys deal with kids every day. You see a lot of this nonsensical rules and regulations and stuff, and they sugarcoat it with, well, it's to protect the children.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are going, hold on, time out, wait a minute, over here.
Yeah, and that's the hard part is it's a false positive. Everybody's like, hey, this is we need to protect the kids. Like, well, not if it's not an issue you don't.
Right.
And there's always, I'm skeptical. I'm like, follow the money.
Yeah.
Where's this going? What are they going to sell it? Who are they going to sell it to? I don't know.
And it's one of those, it's almost a solution trying to find a problem kind
of deal. Yes, wholeheartedly. Good way to put that, Joe. And if people miss that, say it again.
It is a solution trying to find a problem.
Yeah, and we see that a lot in the child care world. It is crazy how much stuff like that comes across our desk where they're like, hey, surely it's a problem. And, we were talking about, some issues, social issues yesterday. A lot of people forget, obesity, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease is the number one issue in America right now.
Yeah.
But everybody likes to pick side projects to make that the next thing. Yeah. Whatever the case may be, which, don't get me wrong, people are affected by opioid abuse and so forth, but, even here locally, not really an issue. Our issue is health.
Yeah.
Especially with our kids. Our kids' health is declining rapidly. Type 2 diabetes is rising like crazy, but nobody wants to talk about that.
Because you can't make any money off of that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's already passed, and
It's easier to talk about scary drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's the whole fear factor, and it's if you watch the news, that's why I refuse to watch news because they play so heavy on fear and scare tactics and all that. I just go, I have enough to worry about. Thank you. I don't need you piling on.
Yeah.
wonder how much of an issue, like how many kids out there actually, I don't want to downplay it, but actually there's an incoming text that, you know, contains explicit material. I mean, part of me is like, it is probably a good thing to alert the kid or just block it totally. Like keep that from.
Yeah,
Like
stop it
coming into-
before it starts.
But,
Okay,
I mean, how many random
Yes,
people
yeah,
are
there you
actually sending stuff? But yeah, like you said, Joe.
I mean, if I had to jump on the kid thing because of my two kids, I would say Snapchat's the biggest deal to have stuff spread, not
Right.
texting.
right.
I mean, my kids rarely even text. They text me, but they don't
Right.
text each other. They do direct messaging through Snapchat and Instagram.
right.
Part of me is like, well, this isn't Apple's department. It's more like the parents. If the parents are doing their job and
Yes, there you go, wholeheartedly.
that's something you raise your kids a certain way that they're gonna be able to make decent decisions and
Preach
you
it.
don't need Apple jumping in and that they're like, oh, they're the ones that are gonna save the day. No, it's the parents, in my opinion, that are.
Preach it, Justin. Preach it.
That's the front line is the parents, not Apple. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's what makes me think that Apple or somebody's gonna make money off this. They're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
hey, we can get this information. We'll get more information in a different way, and somebody wants it.
Well, at the bare minimum, it's a marketing ploy. Hey, look, here's what we did
We're
to
doing-
protect children.
Doing good things.
Yeah.
And to me, maybe they just want to jump on the bandwagon, but like you said, Dave, Instagrams and Snapchats, to me, they're the ones that are actually
Oh, that's
Coming a little
way
more
more
under scrutiny.
dangerous because
scrutiny for
yeah,
and
because
maybe need to do something.
I mean, I talk to my kids. I'm like, hey, text this person. They're like, no. They're like, what do you mean? They're like, I don't have their phone number. How do you not? Or this is what I'll say. I'll say, call them. And they're like, I don't have their number. I was like, you were just talking to them. They're like, no, I was messaging them through Snapchat or
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
I was like, and you don't have their number. They're like, no, we don't need their phone number. We don't need anybody's phone number because they just snap them. We snap
Yeah.
them.
Right.
That's what they call it. And I'm just like, this is craziness.
Yeah.
Because, I have people's phone numbers, and as adults, we text. But, yeah, they don't do that anymore. And I don't think parents understand that that's how, bad pictures, bad videos. You
Yeah.
know, if there's a school fight, people video it, they throw it out through Snapchat and Instagram
Big
fast.
time. Yeah.
And that's how it spreads. They don't actually text message stuff to each other.
And from a legal standpoint, and I had this exact discussion with Cena, and I had this with our niece over the weekend. Cena's sister, her and her husband decided to get their daughter a phone for the first time, and she's in that 13, 14, 15 age range, right when they're starting to get into stuff. She's in high school now. He needs a phone. So I know they had that discussion with her, but Cena and I just told her, and I told her point blank, I said, look, it's like this. The law doesn't care which side you're on. If you're sending inappropriate material, or if you're receiving inappropriate material, guess what? Your butt's nailed to the wall regardless.
Yeah.
Whether it's intentional or unintentional, your butt's nailed to the wall, and you got to get yourself off the wall.
Yeah.
I said, every little thing you send and every little thing that you receive, there's a log that shows who sent it, what time they sent it, and who they sent it to. I said, I've seen these logs firsthand. I said, every phone call you make, I said, it makes a log of it. I said, I've seen those logs.
Yeah.
And I said, and don't think that you can get away with stuff. I said, because if I have to, I said, I will figure out what all you've done and give it to your mom and dad. And it's one of those, I was trying not to be a jerk about it.
Yeah, but you have to.
Yeah. and I told her, I said, I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. I'm not trying to be your mom and dad, and because I know that they've had a discussion with you. But Cena and I, we have seen firsthand how bad things can go in a hurry.
Yeah.
I said, we're just trying to make sure that you completely understand, because, your mom and dad, they're on to you all the time about things. And, kids that age, mom and dad, yeah, they don't know. So, we deal with this almost on a daily basis. Just trying to, protect you. For one, not making a knucklehead mistake, and two, somebody not getting your butt strung up for something that you just a bystander of.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, and I have parents with the daycares all the time. They're like, oh, my kid this now. I'm like, listen, you're the parent.
Yeah.
Be a parent. So it's hard. I don't know.
Dave, would you say, your kids amongst their peer group, is 100% have their own cell phone, or do you think it's 80%, 70?
Oh, 100% easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you hit high school, everybody has a phone.
Yeah.
I figured.
Unless they're grounded.
Right.
And to
Middle school, I'd say 95% easy.
and to give parents an idea of
And every parent claims it's a safety issue.
to give
Yeah,
parents an idea
that.
of go ahead, Justin.
No, just I could see that could easily be a rationale that you would feel
And I always tell them,
uneasy if your kid was out there
if they
without-
play sports, it's one thing. But I mean, even if 50% of the kids had a phone or a coach, the coach will always have a phone. It's like, surely you can have the coach just text you when practice is over.
Yeah.
Or do like we used to do in the old days. If practice is over at 5, you show up at 4:45.
Mm-hmm.
If there's an emergency, someone will call you.
Right.
Well, just throw this out, and it'll date me a little bit, but I mean, I remember Black Walnut Festival. It was kind of like you get dropped off, and hey, you meet it in front of the
Yeah.
library at
Yep.
7 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'd run around all day. with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
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 Now
Well,
parents might look at that and say, "What? That's
yeah. You,
crazy."
Yeah. Yeah, we ran around downtown Spencer, and as long as you met back at that
Yeah.
time, you was gold because you knew that if you didn't, you wasn't going. That was going to be the last day of the Black
Yeah,
Walnut
yeah,
Festival.
yeah.
Period. So
And that's the thing. Parents are so helicoptery now that it's like, oh, they got to have their phone. That's when I coached middle school soccer here for a long time. I said no social media, no phones during practice. And the parents were like, well, if there's an emergency, and I was like, I have a phone. Coach Mario has a phone. Coach Chris has a phone. Well,
right.
not that big a deal. There are
Well-
people in the school, volleyball practice is going on. One of the kids can run up there. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And here's my thought process: if your child, heaven forbid, has a concussion or whatever, is knocked out unconscious, they can't call you anyway.
Yeah, that's us. Like, we deal with everything. If some emergency happens, it's
Right.
911. The ambulance is less than 2 miles away.
Right.
We take care of it. And we got, the hospital here. And I was just like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
We have a wonderful local hospital EMS program. Anyway,
Right.
I was like, it's just parents wanting to pamper, in my opinion, and that makes it hard. Because as a parent, I understand you want to be careful. You want to be accessible in case there's an emergency or whatever. But I always told them, it's way more important that the parents accessible to whatever needs to happen than
Right.
the kids.
Right.
So the kids are with the group. They're with an adult. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
But man,
Well, to give parents an example, a friend of ours, they took in a foster child.
Yeah.
And this young lady, of course, now fast forward, she's grown up and she's matured and she's done very well for herself considering the situation. But
sure.
But when these friends of ours first took her in, she had a rough upbringing and all that, and she was doing things people her age shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And
It happens. Yeah.
and she was setting herself up in a situation for some trouble. And her foster mother, a friend of ours, she brought me her computer, and she said, "Look," she said, "she's up to something. I know that." She said, "And I'm not liking where this is going." She said, "I want to know exactly what's going on and to what extent it is." Done.
Yeah.
So I worked my magic. And she goes, here's her email account, here's her social media. I said, okay. So I worked my magic and find out that not only did she have the one email account that the foster mother knew about, but there was 2 more.
Mm-hmm.
And how I stumbled upon those was I was going through the text messages, and one of her friends said, "Hey, why are you using this email? I thought you got a new one." I was like, "Oh, so there's a second one."
Yeah.
So then I started, and I dug in and got the other 2 email accounts and got all that information and got her entire search history and all that, and I just presented it to our friend, her foster mother, and said, "Here you go. Here's what the little darling's been up to lately."
Yeah.
And I just started going through there. I said, "Here, this, and she about fell on the floor. She's like,
Yeah.
She said, "I knew she was up to something." She said, "I knew that."
Yeah.
She said, "But I had no idea it was to this extent." She said, "But don't you worry, this issue will be resolved." I said,
No worries.
"Yeah." I said, "Okay." I said, this is just do with it as you may." But
Yeah.
Yeah.
she said, because she was our friend, she wasn't one of those helicopter parents, but she was the old school parent of,
Yep.
I'm responsible for this child, and I'm going to make sure that what needs to be done to the best of our ability in the best protection of this child, we're going to handle it.
Yep.
So, and she took care of it, and it was funny. A mutual friend of ours, she's seen what all I found, and she comes up to me. She goes, "Joe, don't you ever do that to me." I said, "Okay, first, you're in your 70s.
Yeah.
Second, unless there's some kind of legal action, I have no need to go look and see how many email addresses you have."
Yeah. That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, so just a fair warning to parents: just because you think you're on top of things, there may be stuff slipping through the cracks that you're completely unaware of. So there you go, Dave. That's kind of a bonus tip of the week.
That is a nice little tip of the week. I agree, and that's the thing. It's so hard as a parent, and most of them just don't understand the complexity of how accessible phones make everything.
Yeah, everything.
And that's why I tell parents all the time, like, I don't understand what the big deal is. I was like, you don't understand what you just gave your kid. If they have a phone, they have access to everything, and people have access to them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, gosh, what's that mean? I'm like, use your imagination. If you can imagine it, search it, find it, your kid is as well.
Multiply that by 1,000, and there you go.
Yeah. Because all the information you'd ever want is out there.
Yeah, and good.
And information you don't want.
Yeah, good, bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, and that doesn't even, my girl's a soccer coach. She's one of those computer people that do stuff on the dark web.
Yeah.
And she's always warning the team about, hey, you need to pay attention to what you do. Your social media usage is important.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff you look up is important. Don't stray down this dark hole of looking for information you don't need to be looking at.
Yeah.
And she's super cautious with parents. She'll tell parents all the time, listen, you need to monitor your kids' devices and, be careful online.
Yeah, because Cena and I, we don't post very many pictures of Sadie online. Some parents, they'll post daily.
Oh, yeah.
And Cena and I work, some of our clients we work with are in the legal system, and so we see a lot of stuff flow through. And we have family members come up to us and go, why don't you post more pictures, Sadie? I'd love to see more pictures, Sadie. And we just tell them, look, we'd love to post pictures of Sadie every day, but we see the negative effects of it. So for her safety and protection and ours, we just, we just post them sparingly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's our paranoia.
Yeah, you have to. You have to take that stance. Interesting stuff. And, it's the same as always. Where do you go from here? What's going to happen? How do we protect our kids? It's all just a big paradigm of, you do the best you can. And the thing we talk to parents here a lot. Just take care of your kids.
Yeah.
Do your due diligence. Check their phones. Don't act like they own the phone and they have the right to hide whatever. That's not how it works.
Yeah, until they pay for the phone and they pay the bill themselves, that is your device.
Until they turn 25, and that's what I tell my kids all the time. When you're 25, then we can talk. And they're like, what are you talking about? We'll be out of college by then. I was like, okay, then great. That makes it even better.
Yeah, it makes my job even easier at that point.
You'll have a job. You pay your own bills. And then you can, so... I don't know. It's
you can
funny.
Talk to whatever stranger you want online then.
Yeah. Well, we see it at the daycare here. The parents ask the kids constantly what they want. Like, oh, do you want to go to school today? As they're standing outside the door at school. And I'm like, that time has passed. You just say, hey, you're at school. You're going inside. And that's the hardest thing, is that separation anxiety that the parents themselves, 95%, are the cause of.
Right. Okay, good. So I don't feel so bad then, because when we drop Sadie off in the morning, she's like, oh, I don't want to go in, and it's one of those, I'm trying my best not to just shove her in.
No, and we tell all the parents, just shove them in, turn, walk away.
Yeah.
And and they're like, oh, they'll be upset. I promise you, I have yet to see a kid that's been more upset for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
After 5 minutes or less, they get integrated into whatever's happening in the classroom. They find their friends. They start playing. They start doing the activity. Crying's over. We had a parent call last week, after their child's first day, like a couple hours later, like, hey, how they doing? So I walked down and I looked at them, like, yep, come back, and like, they're playing their butt off. They're having a heck of a good time. Don't worry. They're like, really? And I almost felt like the parent wanted them to miss them.
Yes.
But I was like, man, it's not how it works.
Yeah.
the parents cause more problems.
Right. Okay, so I'm glad I'm not.
Yes, Joe. Don't be a problem parent. This is your
I'm
lecture.
trying not to.
I'm joking.
So now I don't feel so bad because it's one of those, I'm like you, Dave. Just push them along, but I also don't want to be seen on camera with me taking Sadie and just throwing her into the classroom and running.
Well, and we tell parents that a lot. We're like, hey, just put your kid in the classroom, let the teacher take them, and turn them walk away fast.
Don't
right.
Don't linger too much.
They don't want to hear that. They want to linger. They want to look. They want to wave goodbye again. They want to tell them they love them again, and that's all. I mean, it's sweet and it's nice.
Yes,
don't get me wrong.
Right.
But
there's,
do your child a favor.
Yeah, walk away. There's a fine line between help and a hindrance.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of hindrance, and that's it's I don't know. The new parents struggle, but
right.
It's part of it, and that's just how it works. So parents learn, and it is hard. Like the hardest day for me was when my kids ran into the daycare and didn't even stop to say bye or anything.
Yeah. I'm
just like, all right, no hug, goodbye, nothing, just
Yeah. So you walk that fine line of you understand it.
Oh, I understand. I've been down that road.
Yeah, but
for the child's best interest, you got to be a parent.
Right.
And a parent makes the kid go into daycare or go into the school or what. I saw it over to elementary school, and this has been. I mean, my kid's been out of elementary school for 4 or 5 years now. But, they had a policy. They developed a policy where parents weren't allowed in past the doorway. And it kind of changed there for a year. And I was like, what happened? I saw a big sign and teachers sitting there saying no parents past this point. And I was like, I'm a parent, but I'm here to pick up patch forms. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, sorry, go ahead. And I was like, what happened? And they had parents walking their kids to the classroom, and the kids would break down and scream and cry, and they'd spend 20 minutes in the hallway just disrupting class, disrupting the hallway time, disrupting breakfast. Negotiating with their kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's crazy. What grades is it? And they're like, first and second. And I was like, oh my gosh. Not even like the first day. This was like 2 months into school.
Yeah.
I was like, is it still going on? They're like, oh yeah, it's still going on. I was like, it's unreal. But, parents, be a parent. So, anyway.
Well, and I have thoughts on that, but I'll keep my thoughts to myself. We'll discuss it off air.
yeah, there you go. It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy how that plays
solutions
out,
to those problems that. Yeah.
Anyway,
we'll just call them old school solutions.
I forget what our topic was.
The iMessage.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there we go.
Yes, we have.
Good job, Justin.
Yeah, we stayed kind of on topic.
Yeah.
Good job, anyway, Justin.
Yeah. This is the closest off topic on topic we've been in a while. So Justin just letting it roll.
Yeah.
We're not onto the potholes or the turns of the radio.
Yeah. So it's interesting stuff. There's always a lot of stuff you can talk about when it comes to child safety and parenting, and that's what we were talking yesterday. There's a big grant that went out that talked about socio-emotional behavioral stuff, and it's kind of crazy. Patch has been all about socio-emotional and behavioral aspects of learning and education for 18 years now.
Yeah.
And it's finally swung back. That's how we started. That was our big thing. We want to serve kids, and we're going to attack the social, emotional, and behavioral well-being of children, not academics. And I used to give a spiel, and I remember I was at the national level, and myself and Zach and Denise were doing this presentation, and the federal Department of Education people were in our session. There's 400 or 500 people. And I said, listen, the biggest thing we do that makes us successful is we don't care about the ABCs, the 1, 2, 3s, or their ACT score. And I saw everybody kind of perk up because, room for 400 or 500 educators. And they're all like, what? And I was like, social-emotional and behavioral has to come first. The teacher cannot teach any ABCs until all the social-emotional and behavioral needs are met.
Right.
Period.
Right.
We survey, we talk to our kindergarten, first, second, third grade teachers, and that is the biggest battle they fight, is getting the kids to understand how to operate in a group because, and this is the aspect you have to look at. If a child comes from, let's assume a grandparent's watching them for their first 5, 6 years of life.
Right.
That's great. It's wonderful. Grandparents do a great job. The downside is when they come into a classroom of 25 to 28 kids, it's chaos, and they've never been in that setting before. It's really hard on that child.
Yes.
So they don't know what group time is. They don't know what get your desk ready is. They don't know how breakfast works.
Right.
And so it throws them into turmoil. And then you have a lot of behavioral issues. You have a lot of social issues, and you have a lot of emotional issues for that child. And that leads to the child out in the hallway crying, not wanting to go to school because it's just, it's like throwing them on Mars.
Yeah.
And when we talk to teachers, they spend a full month it's their estimate, between 4 and 6 weeks just getting the kids to adapt to the social situation of being in school. So they lose 4 to 6 weeks worth of learning just dealing with social issues. And then you throw in emotional issues, behavioral issues. You know, you get kids that have never learned that you have to follow an adult's instructions of, you know, stand in line, walk, you know, keep your hands to yourself, be quiet when it's group time, you know, whatever the case may be. A lot of kids haven't not learned those lessons yet. And it takes a little while to teach them. So that's the biggest thing. And when we gave that spiel, the regional director at the time was Pete Eldridge. He walked up and he's like, man, you guys are doing the right thing. I was like, oh, well, I wish you would tell people that, because they want us to make ACT scores, you know, and attendance and improve grades. I was like, that's so hard to do in 1 hour after school.
Right.
You know, our teachers work their butts off for 8 hours a day attacking those things. And it's an uphill battle. We can't work miracles in 1 hour after school. Our job after school is to get homework done. That helps out teachers.
Right.
You know, and to help kids be social, emotionally, and behaviorally adapt. That's what we can do. But here's the hard part. You can't measure that.
No.
So we're left out on island. But I'm glad to see the pendulum swinging back. So.
Well, and it's so, and throw in COVID. That makes
this wreck of
10
having
times
kids
worse.
virtual learning and not having internet, and it's just been a hullabaloo. We've lost a year. The mental health aspect. We were talking about that yesterday.
I keep hearing that over and over. Kids feeling like, when they went to the online learning, it's just like felt like the wind went out of their sails. Nobody felt motivated.
Well, and just
still lingering now. It seems like.
I can't even remember who I was talking to yesterday, but they were talking about the aspects of adults and mental health, the importance of mental health in adults. You know, and the conversation turned to mental health in children. You know, people are worried about adults because of the work situation and everything that happens there, you know, and their family's health and the stress that's been on adults. Think about the stress on kids that we have yet to target and help with. I mean, how do you help out that many kids that need mental help now? Or social help because their world's been turned upside down.
Yeah.
You know, having to stay at home for 6 to 8 months, not being able to do anything, not being able to visit family members, you know, worrying about their parents and their grandparents getting sick. I mean, that's a lot of stress on a kid.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we got a lot of work to do as a society as far as working with kids and making their social, emotional, behavioral aspects better. But we're getting there. I really feel like Roane County is better than a lot. Anytime we talk to anybody, you know, even our neighboring counties or across the state or in the region, you know, we're leaps and bounds ahead of a lot of people. So we got a great little community here. All right. Where were we? I took us way off topic there. Good job, Justin.
So Apple's iMessage feature, it's in beta right now, so it's coming soon. Apple, if you are listening...
we hate you and we don't ever want to talk to you.
Well, besides that...
No, I'm joking. that was for Justin's benefit.
I'm giving you the finger point of shame on letting the children be in charge of their parents being alerted. What kind of knucklehead thinking is that?
Yeah, I take it back. We hate you, and we don't have anything to do with you.
And I'm I'm against you scanning my phone without my knowledge, but I'm fine with you checking the messages before they're sent and received. That's cool. I'm completely against the idea of letting these children make adult decisions.
Yes.
Let the parents do their job. That is their job.
Yeah.
Until the child reaches the age of 18. So stop trying to play mommy and daddy in this situation. It's not going to work.
And it's going the wrong direction. I agree with Justin. It's kind of like, you know, on what you said, a solution trying to find a problem.
Yes.
Wow. All right, well, you got a product review for us.
Yes.
Now that we've shamed Apple again this week, it's weird. I almost feel like once a week on the show, we got to shame Apple, and then we have to
talk about Wise.
Give Wise props, and so the Wise talk is they came out with a motion sensor light camera all in one package.
Yeah, and
I hear you're getting me a doorbell. A wired doorbell to try out.
I'm getting a review on it coming soon.
Well, I'll review it as soon as you get me it. I'll take care of it. I'll put it in. I'll review it.
How about you help me put it in where we're going to put it in at?
Joe, come on.
Well, just up the street.
Joe, I want my own.
Well, okay.
I'm not going to live at their house and try it out. I got to try it on my house.
Well, sorry. Well, I can show you where it's at, and then
I'm
you
going
can take it down after
I'm
hours.
to talk to Cena about how you said there's a budget for these type of things.
Yeah, let me know how that works out for you.
You said there was a budget for these type of things.
Now, she knows better than that to buy that
I
lie.
know. Cena's smarter than both of us.
Hence why we don't get these cool gadgets.
I'm still waiting on our remote control truck and our little toy phones.
Yeah.
Where's our toy phones at, Joe?
Coming soon.
That's what you said last time.
Well, that's still reported by Best Buy. Coming soon. Okay, so today we're going to review the Netgear RBK 50 series mesh routing system.
RBK.
What the heck, Joe?
Okay, so
That was hard to type all that in. I found it though.
okay, so for those of you who don't know what a mesh system is,
I do not.
Dave, you do, and you don't realize it.
Nothing new there.
So, a mesh networking is something new they've come out with in the last few years, and it's where you can provide whole house or whole office, whatever the situation may be, wireless coverage without having to string wires from point A to point B.
Okay. Hold on. How do I know that?
Okay, let me tell you.
Let me explain.
I think you're giving me more credit than I deserve in this area,
Okay,
Joe.
so
I'll throw that out
last year,
Yeah.
when we set up all those hotspots in the community,
there.
those were mesh routers.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Nice.
Because we was able to provide coverage in areas and not have to string a cable throughout the buildings to make it happen.
Yep.
So we was able to provide coverage and not make a mess.
I like how
everywhere.
you say we. I had nothing in that. And Joe, this is what we need to do. We need kids to have access to internet.
Well,
and you're
actually-
like, okay, I got this, and then that's all I knew about it. So
Yeah, well, but you did the legwork. You called the places and you made it.
well,
You made the
yeah,
deals, and I just had
Yeah.
to go install. So
saying that, but still.
you did the hard work.
You were
Yeah.
the brains. He's just the muscle.
Yeah, I did the grunt work. Dave can use the phone.
Yeah.
Job done.
So the Netgear Orbeez, the RBK 50 series, is one of their home level mesh network wireless systems, and I'm going to do a review on that particular model today. Now, full disclosure, we use the Pro series of the Orbeez at our office. We've used them, and I've used Orbeez for many of our clients. Love the whole mesh setup and the Orbeez setup. But this particular model, this is the newest model we've worked with, and we're going to do a review on it.
So it says it uses a third connection between your router and satellites.
Yes, so the way it works is you get one main box, which is the main router itself, and you plug that into your internet box. And then anywhere you have low signal inside your home, you hook up a satellite. And you just plug it into an electric outlet, and then go on the Orbi app and sync it with your main router, and it just picks up that signal and rebroadcasts it throughout your home.
I feel like I just gave someone permission to look at all the stuff that we search online.
Huh?
Is that not right?
No.
It stays in your own secure network?
Yeah, because it uses the same. What it does is
It's coming off the same base?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it duplicates those settings, your Wi-Fi passwords and all that. It duplicates that to the satellite. It's just
So
extending it.
The word satellite here, it's not like a literal satellite up in the.
No,
Okay,
it's just
okay,
it's
I
just a
gotcha,
little
I
box
gotcha.
that looks just like.
Well, that's when Justin said a third link to a satellite. I'm like, oh boy. Now we're sending stuff.
Gotcha.
No, you're not going to send any more information out than you normally do. But yeah, what it does is it sends it wirelessly, so you don't have to. So if you have coverage in one end of your house and the other end of your house, you need coverage. Instead of having to string a wire to the other end, you just plug in that satellite and have it connect to the main box, and it pulls those settings, and then you can walk through your whole house and never drop signal.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So
Kind of like a booster, but not actually boosting signal. It's actually
repeating.
having that same signal somewhere else in the house. Okay.
Well, yeah, you can call it a booster. Yeah, it's yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Gotcha. All right.
Booster. It's a booster.
Yeah. So with this system,
So hold on. Where do you have this at? Are you using it yourself?
Well, actually, we used it I actually installed it in a customer's home, and
Nice. Okay. So
well,
you
we'll see.
got real world.
Yeah,
reviews
oh, yeah.
on it. Yeah. Okay.
So the Wi-Fi coverage, it covers up to 7,500 square feet, and it uses
Wow, that's a lot, right?
yeah,
Huh.
pretty good signal coverage.
Yeah, I mean, most homes are like 1,500 feet for a big home.
But that's not including walls and all that, because walls can really
That's a trick.
mess with signal coverage.
Okay. What size house did you try this on, you think, roughly?
I think it's about 1,500 square feet.
Okay, so about an average household,
Yeah,
right?
about an average house. But now there have been houses. There was one house I've done a while back that we had to actually put 3 satellites in, because just the way the house was laid out. But there used to be an old chimney that went right through the middle of the house that would really. Apparently they used brick and rebar and who knows what all.
Yeah.
Because you could not get signal to penetrate through that, and we had that, and it was
Kind of go around it.
yeah.
Okay.
We made the mesh system made it work and very nicely and a whole lot easier, but yeah, it was a weird setup. But anyway, so this, as far as Wi-Fi goes, it supports the AC3000 tri-band Wi-Fi. And if you need a hardwire connection, it actually has 4 ports on both the main box and the satellite. It has 1 for internet and 3 for your local network connections. And the software comes with the ability to use Netgear Armor, which is a paid subscription. And Netgear Armor is a cybersecurity software that keeps your network and private data safe from online threats at home and on the go.
Yeah.
And it also has a feature called Netgear Smart Parental Controls, which you can give your child's devices allotted amounts of time during the day. You can say, okay, you only get 30 minutes of internet for the day or an hour, or you can even have a nuke button that goes, nope, no more internet for you.
Nice.
I like it.
They're a little pricey depending on the package you get. Let me pull up the prices real quick.
Yeah, I was seeing like $330 for the one I was looking at.
You have between $300 and $600, $300 and $600, depending on how many satellites you need.
Do they come in 2 packs or 1 or just however many you need?
It comes in at least a 2-pack and a 3-pack, and I think you can even get a 4-pack, a main box and 3 satellites.
So does the signal, I'm assuming there's some degradation of the signal the farther you go or the more satellites you use. Does that seem right, or does it keep it bumped pretty high?
Well, that's the nice thing with mesh systems,
Yeah.
that it keeps it pumped pretty high to where there's almost
No
no latency between the satellite and the main box.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, these mesh systems, they almost work on magic. They have this stuff figured out to the point where
Yeah.
it's crazy.
I kind of think so. Application wise, this is for like people to watch movies or kids to play video games.
Well, it's basically your home wireless router on steroids.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like I
Yeah.
feel like if you want this, it's for something specific where you're pumping tons of data at once.
Well, not so much that, more of, hey, we have internet, we have Wi-Fi signal one end of the house, but when we go to the other end of the house, nothing works.
Right. Okay.
And nobody wants to.
Yeah, that makes sense. That'd be kind of that situation as well.
And nobody wants to spend a Saturday and punching holes and making your house look like Swiss cheese trying to string a wire from one end to the other.
Yeah.
So instead of
it's amazing how much stuff is wireless now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So instead of spending a Saturday stringing wire and throwing a fit and getting mad and tearing up and this destruction of property, you get a mesh system on an hour at most. Oh, you have full house coverage and didn't even break a sweat.
Yep. And that plug for Wise.
Yes.
I use their outdoor cams and they're wireless and I love them.
Perfect. Okay, perfect example. If you want to put a Wise cam on the other end of the house on the outside and you have weak signal, there
You
we
need
go.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mesh system could
The mesh
fix
system-
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the pros on the RBK 50 series. The pros, easy setup. It's literally anybody can do it. You plug the equipment in, download the Orbi app, and it literally holds your hand through the whole process. And as far as the satellite, literally you plug the satellite in, you go in the Orbi app and say sync satellite, and it goes through its process within a few minutes. It pulls the exact same settings over and you're done. There's no manual setup. It just
happens.
works. Yeah.
Isn't that nice when things just happen?
Yes, very nice.
You might have mentioned this already, Joe, but if you already have wireless in your home, this will hook up. You don't need to rebuy like a new wireless system. You don't need to reset up like an Orbi compliant or compatible wireless setup first.
No, it runs off just a standard Wi-Fi signal.
Okay. All right.
But you would, if you had a wireless router in your home, you'd take it out and replace this with it.
Okay.
So instead of buying a newer wireless router to help get your signal stronger in your house, you just take out your old wireless router and put this in its place.
Huh. You know what I'm curious about?
What's that?
I want to know how to change my password on Suddenlink.
We can talk about that off air.
I called them and they're like, yeah, we don't let people do that anymore. And man, it's a huge mixture of numbers and letters, and it's such a pain.
We'll talk off air.
All right, good. It's only been a year, but I figured I need to sort that out.
Yeah, pretty good chance we can remedy that.
Such a fiasco.
But we'll talk
anyway.
off air.
All right. Well, that sounds good. So you've used this, you like it. So what kind of pros cons deal we doing, or do you just want to rate it, or what are we talking here, Joe?
So the pros was easy setup. Another pro, excellent coverage.
Right.
The customer's home that I installed it in, they actually their new job allowed them to work from home. So she was loving it. She was actually able to sit on her back porch and in the summertime work and be outside. She said this was ideal. She never thought she could do that, and it was perfect.
That is a good point. Who thinks about going outside and wanting to have laptop or coverage?
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah.
Okay.
The cons, and here are
the cons. Here we go.
They are huge. So, keep in mind, I said I installed that in a customer's home. Update, it is no longer in that customer's home, and here's why.
Ooh.
Yeah. It is unstable and unreliable. Very unstable and unreliable.
How so?
They be working and...
Well, no, I mean, like, what causes it to be unstable?
So I did a little research, and it wasn't, and I wasn't the only person. This particular model of Orbeez, the RBK 50 series, there's a glitch in the code.
Ooh.
That you'll be working, and all of a sudden, it just goes offline.
Wow.
And
that's huge.
And the only way to reboot, and the only way to resolve it is you just reboot it. And what's crazy is it could work fine for a week and then just go offline, and then you have to reboot it 5 times within that one day to get internet connection. And if you're working from home, that can't happen.
Yeah.
So, and that's what this.
Yeah, my gosh.
Yeah. So it's a known issue if you look on Netgear's message boards. And what's bad is these other users, I got on the message boards and started complaining, and they kept saying, well, try this, and this. And I'm going, okay, yes, no problem for me to set up.
Yeah.
One, because this is what I do, but I'm thinking, one, you shouldn't have to do this.
Yeah.
And 2, if this is what it takes to make it work, you need to scrap the product anyway, because not everybody's a network engineer or has a networking background and knows to go and start monkeying with these advanced settings that they should never be monkeying with to begin with.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So, huge con on that. Con number 2...
There's more.
Yes.
And wait, there's more.
So I reached out to Netgear's technical support and said, hey, and here's what's bad was the issue didn't peek its head until about 4 months in.
Yeah.
So I reached out to Netgear's technical support, told them my problem, said, look, I know you're not dealing with you're not going to get me off the phone very easily. I know this is a problem. There's plenty of articles online that said this is a problem. Even your own message boards with your own people say this is a problem. I need a solution. Their response was, well, since it's not a hardware issue and it's past the 90-day software warranty for $89, we can offer you support for a year. And not only would it cover that device, it'd cover your routers, but it would cover your computers too. I said, look, I'm not paying that $89. You can forget that.
Yeah.
It's a glitch in your system, a well-known glitch in your system. Fix it. Oh, well, sir, there's nothing we can do with that. Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
No way.
Yes.
Man, that's just mean.
So it got to the point of, do I just want to light this thing on fire and then call and say, hey, I need a new one because this thing just somehow spontaneously combusted? Or what? So, long story short, we made things right with the customer. We got them a completely different set. Not even Orbeez at that point. I was so mad. We went with a different company. And they are loving life and everything's good on their end. But it's just...
That's massive.
Yeah. So Netgear, I hope someone hears this, and I'm calling you out on it.
Yeah.
So for the... Okay, so...
You weren't lying, Joe.
Justin's on the job.
A review coming that was going to be...
Yeah, I told you guys this is going to be an entertaining one.
So I'm curious now as to the star rating, because you said the pros, it worked good.
Yeah. When it
Cons,
did work.
though, is that it doesn't work all the time.
Yeah, it's
And
crazy.
it had to be
works.
replaced. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so give us the star review here. Out of 5 stars, 5 being the best, 1 being... Is there a 0 star?
I wish there was.
Okay, so there could be no stars.
Yeah.
Do that. 1 being terrible, no stars means avoid at all costs. How about that?
Okay.
So Joe's rating.
So for the RBK 50 series, now that Dave has given it, I was going to give it a 1 star.
Ooh.
But since you gave me the option of 0 star, the RBK 53 or 50 series of Orbi routers is, like I said, this is one particular series, gets a very first 0 star.
Wow. Throw it in the dumpster. Don't buy it to begin with.
Exactly.
Under any circumstances.
Don't even take it if they've given them away.
Wow.
It'll
Not
just-
even for free.
Yeah. Not worth the headache.
That's
No.
crazy. I understand. I kind of thought that's where you were going because, I mean, for you to say, okay, this is no longer feasible and it's got to come out, that's got to be major.
Because I first thought it might have been something to do with their setup, so I took the set,
Yeah.
brought it back to our office, and tried on 2 different internet connections, got the exact same results, and these 2 internet connections were completely
Wow.
different than what the customer had. So we've tried 3 different internet connections and gotten the same results every time.
That is unreal.
Some sloppy work on Netgear's part in terms of developing that product. They
Yes.
didn't do a thorough job apparently of
And
testing and working bugs out beforehand.
and it's one of those, if they would have came back and said, we messed up, we'll make it right, you would have gotten a much higher rating. But when you when it's an issue and you know it's an issue, and then you hold over the barrel and go, for an extra $89, we can fix this. And I'm going, okay, we've already spent hundreds of dollars on this, and now I'm going to have to spend more time on this, and you can't guarantee that this will fix the issue because there's plenty of documentation saying it won't.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to throw an extra $89 out the window,
Yeah.
plus possibly lose a customer over all this, because if I take it back and say, hey, yeah, it's fixed, and then the next day they're in an important meeting, and all they get done is they miss out the entire meeting because they're sitting there rebooting their Orbeez all day. Sorry, nope, move on to the next.
Yeah. Wow.
And just a shout out to Netgear, we went with one of your competitors.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Who'd you go with?
Eero, which is an Amazon product,
Amazon.
which I could possibly do a review on them. And just a heads up, Netgear, that one worked much better.
Well, I would say that's deserving because here's the hard part
and
for me.
Here's what's kick. Oh, go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, you've presented here's what not to get. Maybe the next product review you do is what to get.
Yeah.
And we can kind of do the comparison, I
Okay.
guess.
And here's what kind of pains me
Yeah.
is I've been a huge advocate for Netgear products for years. I use them daily.
Yeah.
And I've installed I've installed 2 mesh systems of Netgear's products since then. Not this model,
Yeah.
but 2 different models from their equipment, and absolutely love them. So Netgear, I'm not just dumping on you because I have a bone to pick with you. Yes, I do have a bone to pick with you, but I'm also a valued customer here. So I'm calling you out on it.
Yeah.
Dang.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a heck of a product review, Joe. I can't believe throw it in a dumpster, don't take it if it's free rating out of you, which is amazing because when it comes to technology, you're really good at making things work.
Yeah.
You know, and I've been with you when I've had technology stuff, and you've been like, listen, this is really trash, but I'm gonna make it work.
Yeah.
And we went down that road before, unfortunately, but a 0 star. Okay, well, take it from Joe. He knows the deal. So, Joe, if anybody needs to get a hold of you, if they're curious about, you know, they want a home mesh system or something along those lines, and you have obviously tons of experience with that, and now you know what to get, how they get a hold of you?
You can give us a call at our office at 304-927-3588. Check out our website at amdigitaltechnologies.com or follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at AM Digital Tech for all that. And be sure to subscribe to the podcast, Help Desk with Joe and Dave. We're on all the major platforms, and all of our episodes are hosted by Anchor.fm.
All right. Well, show number 85 in the books. 15 more weeks, and we'll be up to 100.
Moving right along, boys.
In this format, so yeah. Okay. Well, again, A&M Digital Technologies powering all the stuff here behind our patch stuff in Spencer, West Virginia, and Wirt, and Mason, and Jackson, and you know, super proud and happy to have a local business. So if you need anything technology-wise, go to your local businesses, and I highly suggest A&M Digital Technologies. So we'll be back next week with Show 86. So for more from myself, Justin, and Joe, everybody have a great week, and you know, make sure you choose a home mesh system that makes sense for you.
And not the Netgear RBK 50 series.
So check with Joe or Cena on the appropriate one for you, and they'll take care of all your needs for technology. All right, we'll be back next week. Thank you, gentlemen. Great show, and everybody have a great week.